the retired four-star General Barry McCaffrey now, NBC News military analyst. General, this convoy headed toward Kyiv stalled. They tell us again. They say, they're running out of gas, they're running out of food. Maybe they're just regrouping. In any case, what does it mean for Ukraine's military strategy going forward?
It's simply an astonishing situation. I've never seen anything like it. They put 200,000 troops on an operational level of war into Ukraine, and they've turned their major attack, an armored movement to contact to seize Kyiv, it's turned into a parking lot, 3-4 vehicles wide. There's no return lane open. Now they're running out of gas, apparently food problems, abandoned vehicles on the side of the road, no track recovery process going on. They really balled it up. And at the head of that column, they've got these brave Ukrainians fighting. I don't think it's a strategic pause. I think they've lost control of their invasion.
In the early going, General, we got these reports that they came in from so many areas that Ukrainians sat back and waited. And when this convoy got to the end of it, where normally there'd be suppliers and people to feed them and gas trucks and the rest, they might have cut the back end off and really stopped the forward progress. That's a single pivot. Do you see another pivot coming on the part of the Russians? And what do you think that might look like?
Well, look, if you screw up a company moving to contact, a captain can unscrew it in 2 hours. If you screw up an invasion of a country, I think it's take them several days to figure out how to do this. They're not in assembly areas. They didn't pull off the road and go into camouflage nets. These people looks like an NFL parking lot. So again, I think it's a loss of operational control. It's also obviously a comment on the courage of the Ukrainians who are prepared to fight to defend their country. But, Shep, you cannot defend Kyiv from the perimeter. So if the Russians want to seize Kiev, then the Ukrainian defense forces have to fall back into the city and fight out of the houses. If they do, they'll devour lots of Russian infantry. And the city will also get knocked down. There'll be huge civilian casualties. So the next 72 hours or so will be crucial. What will the Russians try and do? And will the Ukrainians fight block to block, yes or no?
We've long talked about Putin as the bear or Russia as the bear going back before I was born. You corner a bear. You just wonder if they've game planned a worst case scenario that they certainly want to avoid and what that might look like. Thoughts?
He didn't think through this very, very well. The test planning process must be deeply flawed. He's ended up with NATO brought together in the most dramatic fashion in 30 years. I mean, Germany, for God's sakes, was disarmed itself 15 years ago. They just announced they're doubling their defense budget in the coming year. So Mr. Putin's in a strategic disaster. I don't see how he backs out. And the more he fights, the worse it's going to be for Russia in terms of economic sanctions and the 200 other negative impacts on the country. They just stripped Mr. Putin of his honorary president of the Jiu-Jitsu Society. So it's a tough situation for him.
General McCaffrey, thanks so much for your time tonight. I appreciate it. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.